Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1, The Elysian Fields, The Rest Beyond Struggle. In the ancient Greek imagination, the soul's journey did not end at death. Beyond the mortal world lay many realms, each shaped by the life a person had lived. Among them was the Elysian Fields, a place unlike the shadowed halls of Hades or the wandering lands of ordinary spirits. Elysium was reserved for heroes, favored souls, and those who had lived in harmony with divine purpose. While Greek myths often focus on struggle, fate, and conflict, Elysium represented something entirely different: completion. It was a realm of endless spring, gentle sunlight, and peaceful meadows, where no labor was required and no suffering remained. Here, the soul no longer chased achievement or fought against destiny. Instead, it rested. The air was calm, the land fertile, and every part of existence seemed balanced. There was no urgency, no hunger for more, and no fear of loss. What made Elysium remarkable was not abundance itself, but the absence of need. It was a vision of perfect sufficiency, where the restless striving of earthly life finally gave way to stillness. Those who entered Elysium left behind the burdens that had defined their mortal lives. Heroes such as Achilles were said to dwell there, walking fields that never faded beneath skies untouched by storms, music drifting slowly through the air, conversations unfolded without haste, and life moved at a pace free from pressure or obligation. Some later traditions suggested that reaching Elysium was not always immediate. Certain souls might journey through multiple lives, gradually refining themselves before arriving in this state of peace. This idea added a deeper meaning to the myth. Rest was not merely a reward, but the culmination of growth, wisdom, and alignment. The Elysian Fields became a symbol of a destination beyond striving, where nothing more needed to be proven. Existence itself was enough. The soul could simply be, free from the endless cycle of becoming. The power of Elysium lies in its contrast to the rest of Greek mythology. The stories of Greece are filled with battles, impossible quests, jealous gods, and unavoidable destinies. Against this backdrop, Elysium offers another truth: that peace has value equal to struggle. It suggests that fulfillment is not found only through overcoming obstacles, but also through learning when to rest. The myth reminds us that life is not meant to be an endless pursuit of more. There is wisdom in stillness and abundance in sufficiency. In every moment when we pause, release our urgency, and allow ourselves to appreciate what already exists, we touch something of Elysium. It stands as a timeless reminder that after all movement comes stillness, after all striving comes rest, and that peace itself may be one of life's greatest treasures. Story 2, The Paradise Isles, where the spirit finds gentle rest. In the spiritual traditions of Japan, where Shinto reverence for nature blends with Buddhist versions of the afterlife, there exists the idea of a peaceful realm beyond the burdens of ordinary existence. Sometimes associated with Horai, the mythical islands of immortals, and sometimes with the pure lands of Buddhist belief. This paradise is not a place of reward earned through conquest or achievement. Instead, it is a place of harmony where the spirit arrives after life's turbulence has settled. The landscapes of these sacred realms are described with extraordinary beauty: mist-covered mountains rising above still waters, flowering trees blooming without end, and pathways winding gently through quiet forests. Nothing here rushes, nothing demands. The world itself seems designed to support peace. Unlike earthly life, where people are often driven by ambition, fear, or uncertainty, the Paradise Isles offer a vision of existence shaped by balance and presence. The spirit is not required to become something more. It simply arrives, welcomed into an environment where stillness and harmony naturally flourish. Unlike the traditions that sharply divide the afterlife into places of reward and punishment, Japanese spiritual thought often emphasizes gradual transition. The soul does not suddenly become perfect. Instead, it enters a realm where peace can unfold naturally, like clear water settling after a storm. In Buddhist teachings, beings who reach the Pure Land are freed from the distractions and suffering that cloud the mind, allowing them to move gently toward enlightenment. In Shinto inspired understandings, the presence of kami, the sacred spirits dwelling within nature, reminds us that the divine is woven into existence itself. The islands become symbols of separation from worldly noise without losing connection to life. Time feels different here. It is not measured by deadlines or accomplishments, but by awareness and experience. The absence of struggle does not create emptiness. Instead, it creates clarity. Freed from constant striving, the spirit can experience the simple fullness of being alive. The deeper lesson of the Paradise Isles is that peace cannot be forced. These realms do not erase identity or destroy memory. They soften what was once heavy and allow burdens to loosen naturally. Their imagery reflects a profound cultural understanding that balance emerges through alignment rather than control. Water flows instead of crashing. Wind moves gently through trees. Light filters softly across the landscape. Each image points toward the same truth. Fulfillment is not always found in action, but often in stillness. The Paradise Isles reminds us that rest is not the opposite of life, but an essential part of it. In every moment when we release unnecessary tension, pause our endless pursuit of outcomes, and allow ourselves to simply exist, we touch something of this sacred vision. It is a reminder that peace is not distant or unreachable. It is a state of harmony waiting beneath the noise, a quiet island within the spirit itself. Story 3. Tir na Nog, the land where time does not take. Across the western sea of Irish legend lies Tir na Nog, the land of the young, one of the most beautiful realms in Celtic mythology. Unlike many visions of paradise, it is not reached only through death. Instead, it may be entered through invitation, through enchantment, or through moments when the boundary between worlds briefly opens. In this other world, youth never fades, illness never comes, and time holds no power. The fields remain forever green, the air forever gentle, and life unfolds without urgency. Unlike the human world, where every joy is touched by change and every life by immortality, Tir na Nog exists beyond decay. It offers a vision of peace untouched by loss, where existence continues in balance and beauty without fear of endings. The most famous story connected to this realm is that of Ashin, a warrior and poet of the Fianna. One day he met Neve, a radiant woman from the other world who invited him to travel with her across the sea. Together they journeyed to Tir na Nog, where Ashin lived in happiness and companionship. Time seemed almost absent there. What felt like a few years passed as effortlessly as a season. Yet eventually, longing for Ireland and the people he had left behind, Oisin asked to return. Neve warned him not to touch the ground when he arrived, but he insisted on going. When he reached Ireland, he discovered that centuries had passed. His family, friends, and homeland had all changed beyond recognition. While helping strangers move a stone, he slipped from his horse and touched the earth. Instantly, the years he had escaped returned to him. He aged in a single moment and collapsed beneath the weight of time. The story reveals that Tir na Nog is more than a paradise. It is a reflection on the relationship between time and meaning. While the other world offers eternal youth and peace, the human world gains its depth from impermanence. Relationships matter because they are temporary. Moments become precious because they pass. Ashin's journey suggests that while timelessness may seem desirable, it is change that gives life its emotional richness. Tir na Nog reminds us that peace is not necessarily found by escaping time, but by changing our relationship with it. In every moment when we become fully present, when we stop measuring life by schedules and years, we catch a glimpse of the land of the young. Its lesson is that peace exists not beyond life, but within our ability to experience it without being ruled by the passage of time. Story 4. The Pure Land, the place where peace becomes possible. Within the traditions Mahayana Buddhism, there exists a vision in a realm known as the Pure Land, most often associated with Amitabha Buddha, called Sukhavati. This realm is not simply a paradise removed from the world, but a place where the obstacles that create suffering no longer dominate existence. It is described as a landscape of lotus-filled lakes, jeweled trees, golden pathways, and gentle light. Yet these images are not meant to celebrate material wealth. Instead, they symbolize an environment perfectly suited to peace and spiritual growth. Everything within the Pure Land supports clarity. The waters are calm, the air harmonious, and even the sounds of nature carry wisdom. It is a realm where fear, confusion, and attachment no longer cloud the mind, allowing beings to move naturally toward awakening. One of the unique features of the Pure Land Buddhism is that entry into this realm is not based solely on personal effort. Through faith, remembrance, and connection to Amitabha Buddha, individuals may be reborn there and receive support beyond their own limitations. This idea offers a powerful message of compassion. Peace is not always something achieved through struggle alone. Sometimes it is received through trust, relationship, and openness. Once within the Pure Land, spiritual growth unfolds naturally. Time loses its urgency. Enlightenment develops as gently as a lotus opening upon still water. There is no need for competition, anxiety, or striving. The conditions themselves encourage wisdom to emerge. Even the rustling of leaves and movement of water are said to carry teachings, constantly reminding beings of truth without force or pressure. The Pure Land teaches that peace is not created by suppressing struggle, but by removing what distorts clarity. Buddhist teaching describes suffering as arising from attachment, illusion, and resistance. When those forces soften, what remains is openness. The Pure Land becomes both a spiritual destination and a symbol of what life can feel like when the mind is no longer trapped by fear or grasping. Its message is deeply hopeful. Peace is not something that must be built from nothing. It already exists beneath the surface, waiting for the conditions that allow it to emerge. In every moment when we release control, soften our resistance, and trust the process of growth, we touch something of the Pure Land. It stands as a reminder that awakening is not always a battle. Sometimes it is a quiet unfolding of what was already present within us. Daily Thread for May 28. Rest is not the end, it is fulfillment. Peace is not something you chase, it is something you allow. Not all growth requires struggle. Stillness can hold just as much as movement. You are allowed to exist without urgency. What is meant for you does not need force. There is wisdom in slowing down. Abundance can feel like quiet.